And hello, everybody, and welcome to Ask Us Anything. It is Sunday night, and we are live and ready to hit the road. I'm Mike Wendland.
And I'm Jennifer Wendland.
And wow, look how many of you are waiting already. Lots of the first ones up. We always like to say hi to the first is our friends Davis, Tandy, and Buster from Rochester, New York. Thank you guys so much for being there. Second up is Shirley. Hi, Shirley. And Road Trip Buddy and wants to know if we can come pick him up and take him with us. All right, we'll be there probably Thursday afternoon. That's pretty good. And head west on 90, which is a great way to go. It says hello, everybody. And we'll get to our first questions in just a couple of moments. But when we talk about questions, when you have a question for us, it helps us because we have so many people in the chat room. If you type it all out with a question all in caps. If you're making a comment about something we're saying, use comment. Type that all up in caps. And if you do a super chat, which is that little $sign, usually we'll get notified when that, and we'll put you up at the head of the line and go from there. So that's our housekeeping arrangements here today. Oop, I gotta kill my email program so it's not constantly pinging in the background. We are in Michigan. Everybody always wants to know where we are in Michigan, and that's me. And that's both of us right there. There we go. And I'm always supposed to put that up. They tell me to be, to do the right content creation so people know who you are. So that's who we are right there.
Bo is in the house.
Bo is in the house. We are at our house in our RV out in the driveway where we're getting it set up. And I'm tweaking some cameras. We got some new gear. And we're ready to take off this week. On, we think, what day? Thursday. And this looks like it'll be about a 3-month trip, maybe longer, maybe, I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
We'll see what happens.
But we're doing first thing we're doing is a big circle tour of Florida. And, we already have one book out on Florida, on the Gulf Coast. We just put that out not long ago, a couple of weeks. We were going to do a second one on the Atlantic coast, which we are. But to that, we're going to add a third book on Florida on just the Keys, Key West, and really from Key Largo all the way down. And there's just so much to see. So this is our final picture tour, if you will, where we'll be taking a lot of the photos with our rig and us and doing various things. And I have to tell you, this is unusual for us because we actually planned out all of our stops.
Mm-hmm. Took half a day.
We sat shoulder by shoulder and with a big map of Florida, and we literally planned out. We knew where we had to go, where we need photos. We have a lot of photos from all of our other travels in Florida, but there's a few we need to shore up for the book. So we made all of those, and except for the 29th of February and the 1st of March, we want to be somewhere around the Space Coast down there, around Titusville, Cocoa Beach. Except for that area, we've got everything booked out all the way through the Keys and then on the way back. So that's unusual for us to actually plan our stops. It's kind of fun.
Well, usually whenever we plan our stops, it doesn't work because things come up and
right.
And we're locked in and we're canceling. And so I hope we don't have a lot of confusion.
Well, one of the things that we often do is we'll just say, okay, we're going to be in the Keys. We're going to be this. Let's make these. And then we make these dates and we lock in with a reservation, and then we find stuff on the way. So this time, we kind of went A, B, C in the exact order of the trip, and we allowed extra days at certain places. And
hopefully it works.
Hopefully it'll work. Anyway, we hit the road Thursday, and you'll see us. We'll be on next. We're going to make a stop in Albany, Georgia, where I got to do some video editing with the grandson. We got to put the very final touches on his football movie. If you're a regular, we've been down and we had a senior in high school in Georgia, and we made a movie of his senior year for him. So now we got to bring him shoulder to shoulder and tweak it a little bit. And
get the music that he likes.
Yep. Okay, now to your questions. First Motorhome says, 100,000 subscribers is amazing. Do you get recognized when you're out in public often? I love the channel. Keep up the good work. And yes, we want to thank all of you who got us last Sunday over the 100,000 subscriber mark. We're something like 100,700 right now. So it's just continuing to grow, and we're thrilled. We're growing about 100 a day, new subscribers, and it's really exciting to watch that grow. And thank you. It means so much to us. So, do we get recognized?
Yes.
We do. It's
Bo
so
gets
weird.
recognized. We get recognized.
It is so funny. We really find it. Bo gets recognized.
Mm-hmm.
We get recognized, and there are a lot of people watching YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people.
But I'm used to you being recognized because you worked at an NBC, well, still work at an NBC station, technically.
I think a lot of them know that I still do NBC reports every week.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm used to you being recognized. I'm not used to having people recognize me.
But I'd say more people recognize us now from RV than my TV days,
right,
and all that stuff. So yes, and thank you very much. But 100,000 is great, and just keep it up. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. We're thinking also of, you see that community tab when you come to it? I made the mistake of posting on the community tab that I'm thinking of making that kind of a membership group for just those who really want to have a better, stronger connection with us, where we can kind of talk to you on and off. And I posted it on there, and I got some negative comments on that. And then several people pointed out to me, well, those are kind of not your core. This is our core group, you guys, on Sunday night. So we still may do that. We'll figure it all out and get your thoughts on it and stuff. But anyway, back to your questions. Lots of you saying hello, and we always do a bunch. And somebody says, this isn't true. You can always recognize Mike with the camera and poor Jennifer dragging all the other equipment and bags behind. That's not true, Edward. Is it?
It was true in Jerusalem. When I was carrying around a huge tripod in the old days when they were
when tripods weighed 40 pounds and the cameras were like half the size.
But it was worth it because I got to be there.
Well, that was Jerusalem, but not anymore. Now Now we're shooting a ton of video with my. You see these 3 lenses here? This is my iPhone 11, 4K video quality. I mean, absolutely amazing. So we're shooting a lot with that.
Did you bring out your new tripod?
No, it's actually being charged in the house. Okay, what drone do you use for your video footage? Hello from Canton, Michigan, by the way. We use what's the name of it? It's a DJI small one. I can't think of the name of it now. I have the Phantom 4. That's too big. But now I think is it Air? Why can't I remember the name of it? It's just a small little one. Is it right
up here or it's in the house?
No, it's in the house. It's being charged. I don't use the drone a lot. We hope to use some in Florida, but you can't use it in national parks, and lots of people get really uptight with the drone. But I love the footage it gives you, particularly the scenery. We did use it out in the desert. When we're out, we like to use drone shots in the desert and the mountains, and we'll have it with us on this trip. Why can't I remember it? It's a Mavic, MAVIC, DJI Mavic Air. It's a small one, very small one. Cattle Dog Cruising. We've been visiting various state parks to ride our rad power bikes. Is there any destination you could recommend that you've enjoyed using them the most? Just any place where you have a bike trail. There's one we want to do in Ohio. Remember the Donut Trail in Ohio? Where there's I can't think of it. It's just a really long cross-state tour. And I think you can use power bikes, e-bikes on that. But we like bike trails. We like riding around RV parks. We use them for transportation if we have to run up to the store or the corner store or something. So I would urge you to do that. Let's see. Here's one from Edward Varga. Starting the buying process with Embassy, looking for the 2020 Transit build with twin beds. Now the fun starts with choosing options.
Oh, that's the truth.
No solar and nothing on the roof. The Embassy is kind of a clone of really the leisure travel van Unity model. Looks a lot like that. However, if they're making one on the Ford 2020 Transit chassis, those chassis I don't think have yet shipped to the manufacturers. I was told last I heard was March. and it's always later than they say. But I have not heard that they have started to arrive at the manufacturers, the 2020 Ford Transit chassis. And the Ford Transit chassis is a big upgrade, used for RVers. Just like the Mercedes Sprinter chassis in 2019 was a major upgrade, so the Ford Transit in 2020, the cab, the chassis for RVs, has a major upgrade. So we're actually looking forward to seeing what those look like. Um, Looking back into questions, just scrolling on through. Kelly says, as a full-time RVer, how often do you use your ham while traveling? That's amateur radio. I get this question every single week, sometimes twice a week. I don't use it at all. There's no activity on the ham bands, and if I turn on 2 meters and 440, which is UHF VHF, there's very little activity there. You can listen to repeaters, but for my passenger, it's noise, right? I mean, if it was just me, I would have an HF high frequency, 40 meters, 20 meters, always on, which is long distance. I'd always have it on. But it's not just me. It's my dog, Bo, and my lifelong traveling companion, and it's a lot of noise. So I used to carry it around and sometimes would set it up in campsites, and it was a lot of fun. But, space in an RV is at a premium, and I had a portable antenna system I took, and dipoles I could string up in trees, but it's a lot of work, and there really isn't a lot of activity on ham bands. The internet has made that go. It's still a great hobby, but very little on the internet. Hey, Phyllis checks in tonight. She made it from Miami to Tampa today. She's been down in Florida since the Tampa RV show. She had gator for lunch, a lot of RVs. Phyllis, you have to tell us. I haven't followed up on you since Tampa. Have you figured out which RV you're going to get? Phyllis is our social media director, and she's also here helping keep the traffic lined up, along with our friend Chris Cowley, who is also here. Chris is our graphics and video guy. So Phyllis let us know which if you've decided to buy an RV. You were shopping for one, and be anxious to see. Edward Varga, good information on the different type of refrigeration systems at the Dometic website for those asking about different systems. We have a video that we'll have next week on Dometic. They had an event that we attended in Tucson a week or two ago, and we'll have a video on that. We have a Dometic fridge in this unit, in our unit here. There's a lot of confusion on refrigeration. I am very happy with what we have. We have a 3-way, which is LP, 12 volts, and 120 volts. So AC with the inverter on. And if you're not plugged into shore power, the inverter's not on, it will then run on propane, or it will also run on 12 volts. And so that means I always have the refrigerator working, where if it's just an AC unit, if something happens with your AC connection or your inverter, or you run out of battery power, you don't have a refrigerator. So I couldn't be happier with ours. Really have enjoyed it. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
It's been pretty good. All right. Looking for questions. Remember, put question or comment. Here's somebody with his first video chat question. Do you have the diesel Mercedes? If so, how's it holding up? It's another question that we get all the time. It holds up great. In fact, tomorrow it's going in for the 22,000 mile tune-up, whatever that is. It's the oil filter, oil change, the cabin. I think I'm getting new windshield wipers. Maintenance has been great. If you take care of it, if you change your oil, which we do. I've had, this is, how many we had? We've had seven different RVs.
You don't count the one we had for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we borrowed one for 2 weeks, so we don't count that. So we've had six. They've all been Sprinters. They've all been diesel, and I love diesel. I am intrigued by the new Ford 2020 Transit chassis, which is a turbo gas engine, for a number of reasons. One, I've never driven a gas unit, and two, I'm really anxious to see the 2020 chassis changes that Ford has put into place. So So, but as far as Sprinter and diesel goes, we couldn't be happier. It's all great. All right. I'm going right through all these chat things because what I have to look for is the question, like here, and well, like see here. Okay, Lauren, I'm going to use you as an example. I went right past you because you didn't type in question in caps. Please do that, and then I'll know. He asked a good question since we're talking about refrigeration. Does my three-way fridge have trouble maintaining coldness? No. If anything, we have to keep turning it down, don't we?
We haven't had any problems so far.
We use the freezer. What do you put in the freezer?
Basically, Bo has frozen patties.
Raw. We feed
Raw
Bo raw
dog food.
They look like hamburger patties, and I know I'm going to make a mistake someday and put one of those on the grill.
So unfortunately, Bo takes up a lot of space, and now Bo needs green vegetables, cauliflower and green beans. We got to haul that with us.
You want to tell him the big news on Bo this week?
Oh, Bo went in for his annual, and he gained 5 pounds.
You know how we use we use the time around the holidays and the first month we get all of our doctor and dentist appointments out of the way so we can travel the rest of the year. Well, we do the same with Bo,
and
we
Bo
took him
went in
this
and got
week
some really bad news
that he
gained 5 pounds from last year.
Bo thinks that he just needs it for winter
I'm
time.
supposed to cut back on his food and give him green beans and broccoli.
How's he liking that?
He loves it. He's they said half a cup. I think he would eat 2 cups.
Yep.
The dog just, elkhounds are hungry. They're always hungry. Poor guy.
So am I. But hey, Debbie.
You gonna say what the vet said Bo was?
He said he would, if he was a football player, he'd be on the line, defensive line. Here's a question from Debbie Jones. Any suggestions around cleaning your interior while traveling at beginning of season? We have lots of mud, sand, and gravel dust. Really enjoy your show. What do we do for cleaning?
I sweep it out. I have the Clorox.
Broom?
Yeah, broom. I have the Clorox wipes for the sinks, the toilet, keeping things clean. I use a sponge, wipe up the floor for the mud and everything. We just keep cleaning as we go. And I tend to keep ours clean because we have a lot of people that stop by and want to see it.
It seems like every place we go, somebody wants a tour, so Jen's always keeping it clean.
And it's always been like that. I mean, when we first started, man, every time we stopped, we gave tours.
Yeah.
And we'd be inside sleeping and people would be peeking in the windows. Now people are a little bit more familiar with the Class B's and C's.
But we're always, and I think that's true of all of us, right? When we stop in your RV, people always love to see them.
I don't know if you like it. They like to stick their head inside. For
cleaning, you also use those, did you say Clorox wipes? Did you mention those?
Mm-hmm.
Those are really just nice, and we, what else do we for cleaning?
I just wipe everything down.
Yeah. And one of the places that we're going to be staying in the next several weeks of travel, I found there's a truck wash right near where we're going to stay. So we want to, as soon as we get out of Michigan in the cold and there's no more snow and freezing, we need to wash this thing because we got a lot of salt and stuff from the roads. We use this all the time. So, Debbie, I hope that answered your questions. Now, Joe Don Baker, he asked a question all in caps, so that caught my eye. But if you just, all you have to do is write question in caps. But if you were to move, what would be your favorite state? We talk about that a lot.
You want to go to Montana.
Yeah,
Montana calls him.
I love the mountains. And then I really do like, I like Arizona. I like New Mexico, the desert, but not in the summertime. So I don't think I'd want to live there.
So being the ball and chain and the anchor here, we have 2 kids in Michigan and a son and his family in Georgia. So we've stayed in Michigan.
Yes, and we love Michigan. Michigan's a great state. We actually enjoy winter.
We don't like the taxes in Michigan.
We don't like the taxes, and I was going to say that. I was going to add.
And we don't like that
well,
half of the year it's cloudy.
Yeah.
If you get
the Great Lakes, right where we are.
If you get sun for 10 minutes, I think they count it as a sunny day. I think Michigan and Washington State have the most cloudy weather. So.
And there really is something to that. SAD, that seasonal affective disorder. Mm-hmm. When you don't get sunshine, it just makes you sad. So we're going to the sunshine. We're leaving Thursday, so that'd be pretty good.
We first started traveling. never took sunglasses because I never needed them in Michigan. And they're like, oh,
You
what is that
don't,
thing
yeah.
in the sky?
Yeah, it is really funny when the sun comes out on a rare day in Michigan. You hear on the radio people say, "Oh, there's a lot of people squinting at the sun because we never see the sun." You know, it just comes up and it's like we're not used to it. It's not like
Ah.
I suppose it's not like the Pacific Northwest with the rain. And summertime tends to be pretty nice usually, but wintertime it's almost always gray, and it has been. I think we've seen the sun maybe 3 days, and since we in the last couple of months in Michigan, 3-4 days maybe. Okay, question from Mary Ann. In the cold weather, do you ever feel cold air leak into your unity from the slide out? Well, this is the slide out, and the slide is out. Do you feel any cold air?
No, but it seems to me if the wind were blowing, it would be logical that you would feel cold air.
We never have felt cold air. Now, if you listen, I have the heater on. It's 70 degrees in here. I got the heater set on for 70 degrees. It's outside. The temperature is 34. It's pretty warm actually for right now. But
Oh, the funny thing is with a Murphy bed, when you
this
first
thing right
bring
here is
it
the Murphy
down,
bed.
it's cold.
Oh yeah, when you bring it down at night, holy cow, it's cold back there. Because remember, that's up against the wall, you know. And even though there's a lot of insulation in the wall, it's about that big. That's up against the wall. So when you bring it down at night, tell them what you did with a hairdryer.
Oh, well, the first time that happened, I got the hairdryer and stuff. Well, gee, this is
She's
okay.
popped a fuse.
Are we spoiled? I mean, we're spoiled.
We are spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
We're whining.
We're
It
not
warms
really.
up quick.
No, it's okay. So no, we don't really notice it at all. We're sitting out here, and it's set up as the sofa now. We can set this part up as a dinette, and that I use that as a workspace often. The slide is out, and the slide is
Only 2 feet.
Yeah, about 2 feet long. I think it's maybe that long, that wide. I can't see. Everything's backwards when I look at the camera. All right. So I love it. Somebody's asking, does anybody know what state they live in? That'd be us, I think.
Michigan.
Michigan.
We live in Michigan.
Yep.
We have all our lives.
Yep. And
We grew up.
there you go. I'll put that up under live.
Let's
That's
see,
where we
there.
are.
Bay
So-
City, Michigan is where we were.
Yeah.
Where we were born.
Yeah. Does LTV discourage us from cutting in windows like yours? I don't know.
You'd have to ask them.
We thought now. I got two things to say about that. We thought those came with all of them. They just kind of did that on ours as an experiment. We love it,
Love it.
and so does everybody. We're
Everybody
always
who
asked.
sees it loves it.
And I got a note and pictures from a guy who did the same thing. He did it himself, and he cut it out and made the holes himself, and he's perfectly happy with it. So I don't know if they discourage it or not. They did it on mine, and mine works great. But I don't think it's not standard, and I don't know that they'll do it if you ask them. They probably won't now because they're so backlogged on Sprinter orders.
They might do it if
I
you
don't know.
ask. I
Yeah.
don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I thought we
But
thought
I love
everybody
it.
had.
I love it because I can see out. I can get some cross ventilation because I don't like having the air conditioning on. I'd much rather have just the air.
Yep.
Natural air.
Again, I'm looking for questions. If I go past your comments, I just can't answer comments and questions. So we're looking for the questions to answer. Do like Joyce did here. Just type it in. And she says, can you talk about the states that have no
To low RV sales tax.
low sales tax when you purchase an RV? Salesman in Illinois told us it's illegal to do this and you can get fined. Well, it doesn't surprise me in Illinois. I mean, Illinois is another one of those states I don't ever want to live in for the politics and the taxes. But that is absolutely true in many states. For example, we bought this in New Mexico because, that's the dealer that we bought it from. And they said, well, New Mexico has a snowbird law, that if you buy it, you can title it in that state. I said, well, that's great because it would save us taxes. And we were on the road all the time. So we were gone. If you're gone over 6 months a year, you can title it somewhere else. But when we really dug into that, we got back home, Michigan, if you are living in Michigan and you title it out of state, you're cheating them out of the taxes. So fortunately, in our case, we were gone for the 6 months after we bought it. And so I titled this in Michigan now. I have Michigan plates on it because that is our official domicile. even though I could still have kept the New Mexico plates because we're about ready to take off and we're gone. We're gone about 8 months of the year. But I titled it, you know,
We paid the
I don't want to
taxes.
take any chances. So the plates are from Michigan. And if we were to get a new one, I would transfer these plates. The thing I might do is get vanity plates with our names on it or something. Like, I love my wife or something. No. We are V. I don't know. I might get vanity plates. But do check that out because there are states that really do try to get you to get their, you know, sell dealers that'll sell you their thing. Then you bring your unit home to your domicile state, and then they'll find out about it, and then they'll charge you the full tax, you know, taxes on it. I think Michigan taxes, if I were to buy this, if we had just done that and come right back home with it, not been gone, the taxes would have been 6,000 over that really.
It's 6%
6%.
versus 3%.
So 6,000 on 100,000.
6% on
Versus
100,000.
and it was 3% in New Mexico. So check that all out.
I mean, you know,
it's a ridiculous system because it's not consistent, and states, you know,
we just figured it wasn't worth the confusion. We'll just pay the money.
So, yeah, stupid, right? I know, but at least I have no hassle. So we paid the money, and we have this thing titled in Michigan. And every now and then somebody will say, "Hey, that has New Mexico plates on it." Well, that's because we bought it in New Mexico, and we didn't have a permanent residence at that point because we were driving around. Does that make any sense? I don't know. Hopefully it does. Let's move on. Previous video where you drove 10 miles into the desert and found a ghost town museum and descended into mine. Do you leave any sort of info with family and friends in case you need to be found?
We were perfectly safe.
Yeah. Yeah, if you looked at that video, it was up. We put it up yesterday, and we had such a great time. If you look at us, we're going down in the mine. This guy had laid in a cement. You know, we're like way under, but we drove down in like a ATV.
Very safe.
And it was very safe. And
somebody was worried about us, and they said to Mike, "Do you think they thought we went down that shaft?"
Yeah, we showed in a couple of band of mine. No, we were rappelled down there and roped.
No, we would not. I would not do that with the snakes and the.
Oh yeah, we heard all sorts of stories about
what all lives down there.
Snakes down there, and we ran into a guy. It's worth checking his website. It's called Abandoned Cave Exploration. I think that is Frank is his name, and I did a story. I got his picture up on the RV Lifestyle blog. And he does it. He goes down and he rappels down and rope, and it's really interesting stuff. But you know, he was telling us about the snakes they find down there that fall down the shaft.
And not for those who are claustrophobic at all.
And the snakes don't die because there's rats down in there, and the snakes have plenty of rats to eat. And anyway, he said we've heard some pretty good stories about snakes down there. So, but in our case, it was very safe. And we went down in an ATV down into the depths of the mine, and then we just walked through the shaft, which were all lit.
And actually, it's pretty hard to get out of contact with, phones and everything. Because our daughter at one time said, "Turn off your device on your phone that lets everybody know, like you're driving around in circles at home, going from store to store, and you could track us everywhere."
Yeah.
Yeah, she suggested that maybe that wasn't the best idea.
We do have a thing like that. It's in one of my storage cabinets, and I've never even activated it. It's a satellite tracking system.
Our daughter always says, "Where are you?" She always wants to know where we're spending the night.
Our two sons.
They figure we'll be fine.
Yeah. Thank you, Wendy. We appreciate it. Somebody cares and wonders where we are. And you all know where we are pretty much all the time. Now, I used to have a map up that would show you where we were. It was a ham radio app. It was actually, with my ham radio, it drew us a map of where we were. But I took that down because a couple of times we had people show up in the middle of the night and, it was late.
Hey, they brought gifts. What are you complaining about?
They did bring gifts, yeah. They brought wine. Both of them brought wine, come think. It was not bad. Maybe I'll put that back up. But
it's been fun.
Yeah. But our daughter pretty much always knows where we are. Our friend Nancy. Now, Nancy, you didn't type that in caps, but I figured it out.
Mike, it says question.
I caught it because I know Nancy's name. And she says, "I like live plants. What are the best traveling house plants? I would stay in Canada where I live." Just lots of people, cold makes it difficult. We saw something, though, at that Dometic show that was really cool. And
Is that going to be in the story this Saturday?
well, I don't know if I
I
did
think
it.
you should put it in.
If I did, I shoot something on it.
I hope you should.
It was
I think
a
you
little
did.
thing about this big, with grow lights on it, and it runs off of 12 volts, so you don't have
And
to
it
worry
was
about your
like
inverter.
parsley and
Did she do a lot of herbs with that?
Mhm.
And you just plugged it in, and it gave, the lights came on, whatever. It was really cool. I can find a link to that, Nancy, and I will try and send it to you. I have you on Facebook. So
I
I'll try and
love
send
plants, but we're both allergic to mold, the kind that grows in the dirt of houseplants. So
Yeah.
they can't be in our house.
Yeah, it's that's good. So Nancy, I'll try and find that link and send it to you. And if I didn't do a video on it, maybe we'll order one. Would you order one?
My favorite story is when we went out to Oregon.
Oh my! That's when you made me carry that.
And
Lavender.
we went to a lavender farm, and it was so much fun. And I bought 2 lavender plants, one for me and one for our daughter-in-law, who I know loves lavender. And those plants became such a pain.
They stunk up the place. They stunk it out. They did too.
They were in and they were
reeked of
out,
lavender.
and in and out. No, lavender's nice. But anyway, and then the farm that we bought them from sold these plants to Costco.
You could have bought them at
I
Costco.
probably could have bought these at Costco, but hauling them in and hauling them out and tending to their needs.
Yeah.
I guess.
And we don't travel with
because
plants.
we were in a small Class B, and in a Class B, I spent my life with the dog food and the dog bed and all your equipment and everything. Everything went in the back. Everything went in the front. Everything went. There was a lot of going back and forth.
Yep. Let's go back to this titling. He says it doesn't matter where you buy; it's the tax where you title and tag it. Well, there are states that will let you title and tag it there, like New Mexico. And so the vehicle was titled and taxed in New Mexico. But like I said, in our case, Michigan's our permanent resident. Even though we're on the road more than half the year, we decided that because we didn't want to get in any hassle with it.
Because we go to Canada a lot.
Yep.
It was just getting to be a hassle.
So we just titled it here. But you can, there's a lot of RVers, you can declare a residency in a number of states, Texas, Florida,
Dakotas.
the Dakotas, those are the most popular ones, and you title them there, and taxes are usually less in all of those states than they are in, your Illinois and your Michigan and your Californias and all that, so that's good. Charlotte says, you're going to be in Austin, meetup. We'd love to make the 400-mile round trip from Corpus Christi. Well, actually, Charlotte, we'd like to go down and do a meetup near Corpus Christi. In fact, we want to camp on Padre Island on the beach. I need a picture of this thing camped on the beach. So if you organize it, we'll come. I think we'll be there. We're trying to work a Texas trip up in April sometime. I do have a meetup though. I do want to announce, and this is coming up in just at the end of the month, and that's in Ocala, Florida. We are going to have a meetup at the Ocala RV show. That's a Saturday, the 29th, leap day, I guess, in February, February 29th at the Ocala RV show from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m.
And yes, Bo will be there.
Bo will be with us. We always get asked, why didn't Bo come? Well, sometimes they don't like dogs, but Bo's coming with us. If they don't let us have the dog, then we won't be there because we'll have Bo with us. But that's the Ocala RV show. I believe it's at the fairgrounds there. And we're going to be hanging out with Nick Schmidt and the crew from Sunshine State RVs. So it's only 2 hours. We got to leave right after that because we got to be in the other end of the state. But we're going to do one there. And we're working on still another meetup later on in early March down around the Naples area of Florida. But for now, the first one is February 29th at the Ocala RV show in Ocala, Florida. And we would love to see you. And that'd be fun. Maureen says, what is the method you use when using your absorption fridge? The method? I don't know what you mean. I turn it on. If I'm plugged into shore power, it's on AC. If I'm running the generator, it's on AC. Or it's running off my batteries, my 12-volt batteries, or it's running off of LP gas. So it's a three-way absorption. It's not absorption. Ours is, yeah, it is absorption. It's a three-way fridge, and it does it all automatically, so it's always powered up. But there's no method. I just turn it on.
So it adjusts itself.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about if you unplug. You don't have to manually switch anything.
I'm going to pick this up even though you didn't put question on it,
Oh,
Ken.
Michael.
Well, I need it, so I don't want to miss questions. Because people always get, I've asked the question. Just type in question,
Relax.
I'll see it. But I saw this one, Ken.
And
Would you recommend buying used for your first RV, such as a Unity? Many have suggested not to buy new first because you always upgrade. That's true, Ken. That is true. Plus, they're really expensive when you buy new.
And you lose 25% of the value the minute you drive off the lot.
As soon as you drive off, 25%.
It's like a car.
Gone. So, plus, if it's brand new, you're figuring it all out. That's how we started, because we bought used, and we sold it about a year later, pretty much for what we paid for it. That's how well it held its value after that first year depreciation, first and second year. Yeah, it was used. So yeah, and then make sure that that's the style you want. You might want something smaller, something bigger, something with different bed configurations.
If you can find a Unity.
Yeah, if you can find a user.
They're hard to find.
Our friends, the McAllisters, found a Unity with, I think, 2,000 miles on it or something. They got a great price on it, but it's going to be it. So absolutely. Question: do you use a water pressure regulator and a filter? First timer, just purchased a 2013. We do. We use both.
And make sure you do.
We change our filters at least twice a year. And we do have the water pressure in there as well, because I think in one unit we hooked it up as a new park, and it blew out one of the lines, one of our Class Bs.
Got to use
so
that
ever
water
since then
pressure.
we've had, that was like our second trip too. It was like, I don't know what this is about, but they're only like $10, and it's just a little water regulator, and it keeps it to something like 40 pounds or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I recommend you pick up one of those. Put that on the end of it, and we also have a surge protector that we put in line as well. Now I know there's a lot of that protection in the rig, but the surge protector, we were doing a video on it, and I just was going to show it. Hey, I'm going to plug it in, and by golly, the pedestal I pulled it in was reverse wired. And the surge protector caught it, and it shut it right down and didn't go into the unit. So those are all good things to have. Bahia Honda State Park in the Keys. Have you or will you be camping there? I'd like to, but it's shut down right now. It's closed because of damage still being repaired from Hurricane Irma. I just checked that today, as a matter of fact. Bahia Honda is right at the start of the Keys, near Key Largo, and I would love to get there. Like everything in South Florida, and particularly on the East Coast, everything is filled up. In fact, most of these RV parks, if you call, they don't even call you back. That's how filled they are.
Well, they're busy tending to the people who are there.
Yeah, but we would have loved to have seen it, and we tried to get into John Pennekamp, which is the underwater state park, but they also have some camping spots there. That's booked up, and the dates we needed are, we're having a heck of a time finding anything. That's the 29th of February. After the Ocala show, we're going to drive down towards Miami, and Fort Lauderdale, Miami area.
And then March 1st.
And then March 1st. So we need that for 2 nights. We're still looking. I'll let you know where we find. But Bahia is still, it's closed because they had damage they're still repairing from Hurricane Irma. Are you guys going out west on this trip? Not this one. We're doing Florida. Well, we might go into Texas, maybe New Mexico, as it gets a little bit warmer in April. But we are going west, and I don't want to announce all the details, but we really have a really cool trip planned to the Northwest, Northern California, the Canadian Rockies. We're doing all of that in late summer and early fall, and we're really excited about that. But we'll give you a lot of details on that as we get closer, because we'll have numerous meet and greets out in that area, and we're pretty excited. Another question: Sprinter maintenance costs.
Expensive.
If you spend as much money as these things cost,
doesn't it cost like an extra $25,000?
Yeah.
For the Mercedes engine?
Well,
somebody said that once to me.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's true.
compared to like the Transit, yeah, it's about that. But take care of it, and that's the cost of it. Yes, it does cost more. I will spend over $500 tomorrow on having this thing serviced. The windshield wipers on this thing are $100, but they're, that's pretty important. The cabin filter for the air, and we just came. We've used this thing really hard in the last year. That's $100. Oil changes are $250, $230. Can you get stuff cheaper if you do it yourself? Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
If you have the ability to
You
do
have
it
the
yourself,
ability to do it.
go for it.
I don't have the ability to do it. But these are big investments, and so I want it taken care of. And but if the maintenance is a factor in that extra cost, then you shouldn't be buying it probably, because they are more expensive. But you do want to take care of it. You don't want to spend all that money on a really nice unit like a Sprinter RV, whatever make the RV is, but the Sprinter, and then chintz on maintenance. So
It's kind of like the toilet paper.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Use,
doesn't that make you mad? The toilet paper you have to
use
get?
the marine toilet paper, and I can see why people are thinking, why not just use regular, because they use twice as much as the marine, and they're thinking just use the regular to begin with, and you won't use twice as much. But
So
use what they say to use.
yeah, it's good.
Why take a chance?
Greetings from Charles in Dayton, Ohio. I've made my reservations to Hershey. Will you be attending this year? Nope, we're not.
I don't think we're going to be.
We will be. I think we'll be out west in Hershey. We've been to Hershey every year for 4 or 5 years, and frankly, I'd like to take a break. We are also.
Not me. I love Hershey. I love
You
little
like
Hershey
you
candy
like
bars
you like the
and
candy.
the smell of Hershey.
I'll go buy you a
and
Hershey
the
bar.
hills.
Yeah.
And I still want to get to Gettysburg.
Okay.
But
we're not going this year, and we're going to cut back, frankly, on a lot of the RV shows we go to, so we can go out and do more stories like we did this week and last week, the adventures we had in Arizona.
how
It's a
are we
lot
going
of
to
work
top
covering
last week? Man, that was
I don't know.
a
It
great
was.
story.
But,
Just stumbled
yep.
on that one.
So while we're stopping by the Ocala show, that's really just we wanted to do a meet and greet in Florida for a lot of the snowbirds, so we're going to stop by there. I'm not covering the show or anything like that, and I don't think we have plans for any other show until maybe October in California. The California RV show. We'll do that since we'll be out that way anyway. So here we go. I'm seeing here. I'm trying to look for questions. Joe, have you ever not been able to find a spot in National Forest or BLM land, Arizona in March? No, you wouldn't have any trouble finding a place in Arizona in March. Right now, I mean, we were there 2 weeks ago, a week ago. I can't keep track of. We're traveling so much, and I mean, there was.
But I mean, if we've
everywhere.
been there,
January's the busy
we had
time.
been there the week before when they had the Quartzsite
In Quartzsite, yeah.
show,
Quartzite, yeah.
then I guess it's wall to wall people. But then you have to put on your "This is fun" hat. Everybody being jammed in.
Yeah. So, no, you won't have any problem. And if you're out west, the BLM land is so. If you saw the video I did yesterday, please go back and look at the one we put out yesterday, because you see how much land there is around. And look at the video we put up yesterday on the mysteries in the desert, boondocking in the desert, it's called, and then the one the week before on Quartzite, and you'll see how much room there is, and you will not have any problem.
And what I liked about it, it was cold, and so the snakes were sleeping.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we had our dog, I would be worried about him. Yeah,
because that's the thing. If we are out there again this year with Bo, because Bo's going to be with us on all of our long trips this year. I saw somebody in Arizona a couple of years ago when we were there. They had a service where they would take your dog and they'll snake train your dog. So they get all these big rattlesnakes, these diamondbacks, and they duct tape their mouths and throw them under a bush, and take your dog out and then put a little shock collar on the dog, and the dog hears the rattlesnake rattle, and the dog gets a shock, and they learn to stay away. So I'd like to do that with Bo. I'd like to train them that way.
Anything for a video.
Wouldn't that make a good video? That would be pretty
poor
fun.
Bo.
Oh, Bo, you get over it. What made you decide in the end, from Captain's Table, to go with the self-contained driving RV over a pull-behind trailer, since once you arrive, does it limit your opportunity to explore and park? Well, we have a small RV. This is a fairly small van. It's a van with a RV built on the end, right?
Yeah, particularly the B that we started out
Class
in, that
B.
was little, a Class B.
Just a
It
van,
was
camper van.
very small, and you know, you could walk around and use the bathroom, or I could take a nap, or Mike could take a nap, and I could drive. Everything was right there, and it was so small. It was easy to get from point A to point B. So, but there's much to be said for towing a trailer. You're bigger, you know, you got to have a lot of space to pull over,
You
to
got to
pull
get
in.
a cool truck.
Yeah.
I like that.
And, you know, leave that trailer. Oh, it was cute. You didn't use it in the video. That one couple that we met at the end where they had just bought a small motorhome.
That was in
you,
the courtside video.
Oh, okay.
No, that wasn't courtside. That was in the video about why did you buy your RV? What caused you? That was in 3 weeks ago.
It just happened.
The couple we met in courtside?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right. They were in that. They made the cut for that one.
And they had traded in a trailer to get a little RV.
And that was one of the reasons. She said she was tired of pulling over to have to use the bathroom. She wanted everything in one small space. But, you know, it's up to you.
A lot of people...
Nothing is perfect. It's what's best for you.
Now, if I had a Class A, or even some of those bigger C's, Class C's, it would be a hassle to go out. This thing... We have no problem. Just, you know, we get in our campsite and, you know, off we go. Most of the time we're boondocking, so we don't care.
And sometimes we're at a campsite, we don't even plug in.
Yeah.
You know, we've got water, we've got electricity. We just pull up on the little cement slab. And
if we want to run into town for dinner or do some shopping or sightseeing, we just take off. And then we come back.
And there isn't that much that we have to anchor down. I mean, you just make sure that everything's shut.
I know it would be... Our son Jeff has a trailer and he pulls it with his truck, and it's a hassle pulling that thing and parking it and leveling it, and this is so easy, you know. So,
I
but it's everybody's different, you know. Try them all. You might, you know, it is a nice thing. I will say there are times when we think it'd be nice to have a car or a van so we could. But
I know you talked about getting a little smart car, and I said, well, then you and me and the dog, where would we put groceries? Where would we?
There wouldn't be room for you and me and the dog.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Do you ever stop at the Waffle Houses along the way for breakfast or lunch?
We have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not our favorite places. You know,
I'm
a lot of
more a
grease.
Waffle House person than you are.
Yeah.
I like a big breakfast. Bring on the breakfast. I love it.
Yeah. When you are boondocking, what's the average amount of water you use per day? I've never measured it.
No idea.
We can fill this up. I think it's a 30-gallon tank. And we can shower, both of us, for 3 days. Use it for washing dishes. And we still have water left. And then we usually, about every fourth day, we'll go top it off. And I just got some new, somebody sent them to us to review some water. They're like folding water bags, real heavy plastic, 5-gallon that you could use too.
A big milk jug.
Yeah, and I could see if we were going to go, it's like a big milk jug. If we were going to go for extended times, I would probably fill up a 5-gallon one of those and just, you know, keep it somewhere. And then I'd have even more. But easily 4 or 5 days, you know.
And everybody knows you can't empty, you would never think of emptying that black tank out in the wilderness, but you can't empty your gray tank either.
Yeah. Are you coming to Wisconsin this summer? Yeah, we'll come through Wisconsin probably in mid-August, I would think.
Actually, our daughter-in-law, Amy, was talking about vacationing in Wisconsin.
Well, we'll be there, for sure we'll be there in mid-August. And then I don't know about which way we'll come back. So we'll be there in mid-August. And what we're trying to do now, instead of all these RV shows, which really kind of limit us to where we're going to go, that as we travel through an area, like we're going to do in Ocala there on the 29th, we'll do meet and greets, and we'll try and let you know with us. We love meeting you guys, and that's the so much fun. Which RV camping memberships do you use the most, and why? Probably Escapees, the Escapees Club. I think that is the club that has all of the momentum going right now. They have all the standard services that any club has. But I really like the parks that they're affiliated with. They have better discounts at the parks. They have a really good mail forwarding service. I like the gatherings that they have. The people that we've met who are escapees tend to be our style of RVers more than any of the other groups. We've also been affiliated with the FMCA, which tends to have a little older demographic. Certainly, although it's open now to all RVs, any RV, even towables, it skews more towards the big Class A's, and we've been a member of them before.
And they have wonderful workshops in different areas of the country, and you can learn.
As does Escapees with their convergences and
all
everything.
kinds of things.
So there's a club for everybody. But right now, the one that I am most excited about is Escapees. They have Escapees, and then they have the Escapers, which are more for those people who work on the road. They're a little younger, that group, and even though we're old enough to be their grandparents, since we work on the road, we have a lot in common with them. So those are the two that we're most. But Escapees is the club I like the most right now. Do you need a permit to photograph or video in national parks if you're posting on YouTube? No, you don't. Unless you're selling your pictures, I don't think you don't. If it's just do it. You are not allowed to shoot with the drone. So national
don't
park.
Do it because they'll find
national
you.
park is mine. I mean, that's mine. I own that. You do too, and we certainly can take pictures. We certainly can post them on YouTube. The drone is a different matter. There is a law now that prohibits drones because they have been proven to harass and be harmful and endanger wildlife because of irresponsible owners. You've seen those videos where people chase herds of deer or bison with a drone, but also because the sound actually does bother them. Shorebirds are particularly bothered by them. So I can understand the drone prohibiting, but no, it's okay to shoot and video on YouTube. Let's go back for some more questions. What do you think of the Coachman Beyond? We like it. It's on the short Ford. It's a Ford Transit model, I think. It's on the Ford Transit chassis, and it used to be known as the CrossFit. But they got in trouble with the people who do CrossFit training, and they had to change the name. So anyway, it's now known as the Coachman Beyond, and it's great. There's a lot of good technology, a lot of lithium battery technology. Coachman, we've toured their factory. There's a video here on the channel that we did touring their factory, and you can see, and that's it's a nice unit. All right. Questions about the LTV Unity. That's this unit we're in. What's the best floor plan for 2 adults and 2 teenagers?
Ooh.
I don't think there is one. I don't think it's big enough.
Get a tent for the kids.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I mean, I could not recommend that for 2 teenagers and 2 adults. To begin with,
2 seat belts.
Yeah, there's only 2 seat belts in the unit. Well, at least I think there are some unities that aren't there that.
I think there are some that have. Like the seats
I think one of the
here.
corner beds, I don't know. But it's too small in my opinion, it's too small for 4 people. I would not be comfortable with 4, and make sure it has enough seat belts.
It depends on how casual you are. Because like our daughter-in-law, Amy, she's just such a good sport. She just says throw an air mattress on the floor and,
yeah, well, then you got to step on them.
Then you got to step over people. There isn't room for the dog.
Yeah. And then every state is different. Many states only require the driver and the passenger have seat belts. Others say that kids have to also have them. So check, each state has different laws. But I don't think that the Unity B Plus is a good choice for 2 people and 2 teenagers. I think you'd be better suited to an entry level B or a towable trailer with. Or perhaps even a 5th wheel with
or maybe the pop-up,
or a Class C, the old Class C with the bugs up
roof.
front. But I wouldn't recommend the leisure travel van for 2 adults, 2 kids. Just
well, the tent outside. That's what a lot of people say they do.
Yeah.
Because 2 teenagers, how long are they going to be with you before they run off to college or something?
Yeah. Are you only going to be at the Ocala show on the 29th? That's
Yes.
all. Only those days, only that,
that
day,
day.
Saturday the 29th, only from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's our time shot there. Have you ever traveled and camped Nova Scotia, Canada? Ever going to? Someday. It's on our bucket list, the
Would love
Maritimes.
to.
It's a long way away, and it's at least the whole summer to do it right. And it's like Alaska. It's a multi week adventure, and it is on the list, Gene, and we would love to
Love to
do
go
it.
there.
Yeah. Let's see what else we
Oh,
have.
there's one about New Mexico.
Okay. You have any time in New Mexico? Yeah, we like New Mexico. We like Utah. I mean, New Mexico, Utah, they're all great. Colorado, that whole area. We hope to spend some time in New Mexico, perhaps in April, as I said. I'm not sure the exact time and how that's going to work out. We have a tentative trip to Texas. We love the Bluebonnet time in the hill country, and we'd like to spend some time around Big Bend and then maybe into New Mexico, but that hasn't firmed up yet, so we're not as sure as that. We are sure of our trip across the north in the Canadian Rockies down into Washington, Oregon, and Northern California, down, ending up
I'm getting tired.
ending up the first week of October at the California RV show. We'll have more details on that. Have you ever stayed or visited Thousand Trail Campgrounds in St. Clair, Michigan? No, we're not a big campground user. We have stayed in a Thousand Trails campground in the Adirondacks, or near Lake George, New York, on the edge of the Adirondacks. Not a big fan.
Oh, at first we didn't like it. Then I came to love it. I thought it was a happening. I thought it was fun.
Let me just
It
tell
was
you,
an adventure.
you're never going to get me back into one of those. I will quit RVing before I'll go to one of those.
It seems like I said that when we first
Oh.
checked into the place because it was like a zoo. But it was so
was a zoo.
huge that there were little pockets here and there that weren't crazy.
It was.
And then there was one. Oh,
Never.
we've got a video.
Never,
Our
yeah.
New York video. It's very
Yeah,
funny.
look at
You
our
did a
Adirondacks.
good job of
And
showing it.
I'm not a big fan of the pricing of Thousand Trails. They charge you got to buy a region of the country, and they charge you a lot of money. And you know, the style I like is not in a crowded RV park with people 10 feet away from me.
I mean, if you had kids,
That's not why I'm
if you
RVing.
had kids at a playground
Kids would like
with
it.
the restaurant and bar, so you could watch your kids on the playground equipment. If you're into that,
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Comment. Try the app Life 360. It's a great location app and it's free. Thanks, James. I will try and got to remember that. Life. When I write that down, Life 360. I'll check that out. I love apps. Can't have too many apps. Sam asked a question. We've already still a long ways out. Do you plan on being at the Hershey RV show? Nope, not this year. After 5 years in a row, we're going to take a year off. What's a good first-time RV to get started with? Whichever one you can afford that you can get into right now, and we'll let you go out and explore and find out if this is the lifestyle for you. It all depends on your style and what kind of camping you want to do. Value of the bed size. Do you like the size of the Murphy bed over your old Class B? Oh, yeah. Value of size. Size is, this is a king, right?
yeah, this is the king.
Is it really a king?
I think it's probably a little smaller.
It's
than
68 by 68, but it certainly feels like
mattress.
a king. I think it's a little shorter than a king, but it's so comfy.
It's very comfy and it's easy to get.
It's a real bed.
It's easy to get on and off because when you have the sofa that goes down, and now if you have the two twin beds, you know, then it's easy to get in
Two
and
twin
out.
beds would be easy, but
Yeah.
we like the king.
But when you have a sofa in the back, like in most Bs, you're doing the scooch.
Well, look at this. We got a super chat.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! $20 from TLO Barden. Let me buy you 2 lunch.
Well, that's
Enjoy.
kind of you.
Burger King, here we come. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, actually, that's how much is that?
Yeah, that's 17.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
no,
no,
it's
6.
not 17. It's
They
13.
Yeah.
Google gets the rest, or YouTube. But hey, we can
Thank
still
you.
eat it. Thank you. That is awesome. We really do appreciate it. That's awesome. Do you have a thermometer in your fridge? I don't. I used to have them,
Yeah,
and
you
the
used to
battery
have
kept
one.
dying out. Charlotte, it could be fun if you could come to Corpus Christi, the Padre Island National Seashore, some beautiful oceanside. Charlotte, when we're heading that way, we'll let you know, and you help find us a spot. We think that would be really fun. And Charlotte's offering to organize a meetup.
Oh, that's so kind of you.
Meetups are simple. We just basically say, hey, we're coming. find lots of times it's a little fun restaurant where people, we're always traveling with Bo, so we got to have a dog-friendly restaurant, so outside. Sometimes it's a microbrewery. Sometimes it's even somebody's backyard, or there's lots of places, and we'll be in touch. But we'd love to do it down there. We'd like to go to the Grand Canyon. Any good areas to camp? It's our first time. Boondock, one of the best spots we've ever stayed at, was in the National Forest on the north end of the north entrance of the Grand Canyon, 2 miles from the north entrance. Every RV park for 50 miles around was booked. The park itself, campground, was booked. We found this awesome, and we did it 2 nights in a row. Awesome boondocking spot with elk running around right outside of us. Boondocking in the National Forest right around, and we couldn't have been. How do you travel with Bo? We do all the time.
It makes it a lot harder. We love both, but it's you're always we have Bo needs.
We have Bo needs.
I need the gym. Bo needs the dog park, the off-leash dog park.
And he doesn't. We have to try and factor that in. But he's part of us,
puppy.
So he's our dog. Any thoughts on the return of Road Trek? Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
I just interviewed the new CEO of Road Trek, and had a really interesting conversation with him. And it'll be on a week from Wednesday in our podcast. And we talked about the return of Road Trek, and he was very candid about how long it's taken them to get the models out, but they're now building, and they have one assembly line open. They're starting to actually ship product. They sold their first new, the new Road Trek, and they're building right now only the Zion models. They hope to add some Sprinter models later in the year, and maybe on the Ford Transit in a couple of years. But I had a really interesting interview, asked them a lot of questions, and I think you'll find that a week from Wednesday, not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. I have an interview with them, and they'll be on the podcast.
Do you know it's 8:00?
It is. How far do you plan your next trip segment? Well, our next trip, we planned it yesterday or the day before, and that's going to be lasting about 3 months. And our video segments, sometimes 2 days before, sometimes I have a rough idea a week or so before. I'm going really quick here because we're basically out of time. And great questions from everybody. You sound very organized. Do you have all your trips planned out for 2020? If so, who did it, you or wife? I did it. I set the goal, but the one we just planned, we needed to do the details. My approach is, okay, we're going to go here. That's all I plan.
I'm the detail person.
She says, well, where are we going to stop? How long are we going to stay there? Well, we're going to stay here, and then we're going to go here. Well, we need a lot of time to go. So we sat down shoulder to shoulder and spent a whole afternoon, and we want to stay here. We got a map out. Then I would pick up the phone. I would find a place, Harvest Host, Boondockers Welcome, campgrounds, and we have it all organized except for
the Space Center.
Except for we're trying to get in a fairly good park on the Space Center area, on the East Coast there.
February 29th.
February 29th, March 1st, and it looks like we can't find anything out there. So
something will come up.
Somebody offered us a driveway, but because we're working, we have the dog, we don't want to impose like that with the way I think. Because, as Doc Laurie says, do you find having a dog limits your RV lifestyle options? There's no doubt it does, yes. Where you can spend the night? Yes. We had a Boondockers Welcome spot lined up for the 29th, in the Space Coast. And the guy says, I can't. I don't have a fence. My neighbor has a mean dog. And if you have a dog, I've got, he had an orange grove. I can't let you stay there because you have a dog. So, yeah, it does. It does, and we try to be really honest to people. We love our dog. We take him with us. But there's no doubt it does limit your travel. Is it important to cover the RV tires when parked to prevent sun damage?
I would say yes.
Yeah, if you're parked for a long time in one spot and you're not moving, yes. But if it's just a day or 2 or 3, it's not too bad. If it's really beating down sun, then I would do it. If you're in Arizona in, May, June, July, August, yeah, cover them up if you're staying there for a couple of days. Are the lithium batteries doing noticeable difference? Absolutely. Last longer, charge fuller, totally maintenance free. I couldn't be couldn't be more pleased with them.
That's quite the question.
Okay. If I sell my $750,000 house and buy an RV, is it worth it? How do I know? You're going to buy a $750,000 RV? That would be like a Tiffin. You wouldn't be able to. I mean, you don't need to spend that much. It depends on what you want to do. If your idea of, I don't consider a big Class A an RV. I really don't. Those
It's
are
a
really
house on
homes.
wheels.
Those are big houses on wheels. People, I just don't consider them an RV. And you certainly can get one a lot cheaper than $750,000. I mean, the absolutely best Class B that I know of is from Advanced RV, and those things sell for $300,000 around that.
Mhm.
You know,
250,
setting it up the
300,000.
way you want it. The
And
others
that's a B.
all 150 for a brand new Class B, a good quality Class B, not the cheap entry level ones. 150, 130, right in that area, 120. So that's,
Boy,
yeah.
you could be here all night, Mr. Mike.
I know. I wish I could, but we gotta go do the newsletter. I have to write the newsletter. When you boondock in the national park, do you stop wherever? Don't the park rangers? Well, you have to go. You don't boondock in a national park unless you're in a campground that you have permission to go in. In national forest, around the national park, there are dispersed camping areas. It's up to you to find those areas, and many of them will have a small fee, $7 or something. But in a national park, there's really no opportunity to go boondocking unless it's in one of their primitive campgrounds, and most of them have campgrounds. Because remember, they haven't done much to improve the national park campgrounds, so they haven't. Most of them don't have electricity, water, and all that stuff at the site. Okay, I'm kind of going through there.
When we go on like our trip to Texas and things, and when we go, we'll ask everybody where should we stay.
Yeah.
We'll get your advice.
Yeah, in fact, we'll take your advice now. Should we? Where should we stay on the 29th or the 1st?
Oh,
yeah.
Now we're talking Florida.
What else are we talking about?
Well, I just caught the amazing place to stay.
Yeah.
Eric here.
Why would you spend hundreds of dollars on a surge protector to protect and not spend $10 for a fridge thermometer to reflect your life from food poisoning? Well,
we don't think we're going to get food poisoning. We're comfortable with our
refrigerator.
refrigerator.
If my refrigerator's cold, I'm not worried about it.
And when we had our thermometer, it didn't work right.
Yeah, I've had
Our
two or three of them.
experience with thermometers was they didn't work right, and it was very frustrating because we kept buying them.
I don't have a thermometer in my one at home.
We have confidence in this. But if we get food poisoning, we're going to get food poisoning.
Yeah.
I just hope we lose some weight.
Well, that's probably one good thing. Yeah, we're just not worried about it because I can tell if it's cold or not, and it's never been a thing. Okay, hey, I went way over again. Gosh, we could stay here all night. We love doing it with you guys. We'll be, don't forget the podcast on Wednesday, a new video next, and we have a video on version of the podcast interview as well. A new video on Saturday. And then tomorrow is our newsletter. And I just want to let you know, if you've not been a part of our newsletter, just go to that. You can sign up tonight. You'll get it delivered in your email box first thing in the morning. If you've not been a part of our newsletter, that's how you subscribe.
I think you'll like it.
There.
So sign up for it. I think you'll enjoy it.
Lots of stuff on our newsletter. So thank you guys so much. And we'll be hanging out, reading the chats. You can reach us anytime through email, through the RV Lifestyle website.
Give us a thumbs up.
Oh, I didn't tell you. Hey, before you go, give us a thumbs up.
If you would, please.
I always forget to do that. There are a couple of them went there.
Thank you.
Yep. That's great. So lots of great questions. Gosh, I wish I could answer all of them. It's fun. All right, we're just reading all your answers here.
Yeah.
And it's fun. Shirley's giving us applause. And with that, we are going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Have a great week. We'll be back next week on the road. Where will we be? We don't know where we'll be.
We'll be in Albany.
We'll be in Albany, Georgia, I think, Lord willing, next Sunday night. We'll come to you from there. Thanks to Phyllis. Thanks to Chris for keeping everything going. Thank you guys for hanging here and your questions. Great questions tonight. Have a great, safe week, and get out there in your RV.
Happy trails.